Roman called Scipio Africanus. And before it was called Africa, it was called at one point or another Ethiopia. And Ethiopia, if it means mixed people, and that's what Ethiopia, all of Africa, well, what's called all of Africa now, was named. Before it was named that, or it was understood, I guess, in the mass in some way, or who knows what collective history was taken out that understood it and said that it was understood that all of Africa was Ethiopia at one point, where you get the words ethnic. Anything starts with earth. Well, maybe not earth, but maybe so. But in etymology, it might be that they're related. Anyway, so this theme with the cross, the center in the middle, this square in the middle with the cross is dominant in all their. And I thought maybe this isn't actually having nothing to do with the cross at all, but really it's just really a map or a symbol of what Earth really looks like. And again, this is for the flat earthers. Again, I can't prove the earth is flat or round, but I have more proof that it's flat than it is round. You can't deny your senses. You can't believe things that are ridiculous. And, these guys like Neil deGrasse and this other dude, oh man, these guys, they pour it on. And clearly a lot of people must be must be dumb, because they do follow it. They do follow it. See, that's how it's supposed to be. Sorry, that's how it's supposed to wear on your neck. Like this. It has a loop here. So now this is fairly big cross, but these crosses that I got, they were extremely detailed. And sorry, it's not focusing the way I thought it should be, but they're extremely detailed. And on the back of this one, it has the Star of David. If you look here, you'll see six dots encased in this outline, which is the Star of David. You see, you got the pyramid going up and the pyramid going down. Feminine, female, male, or who knows what else, a box. But it's also a box within a box. But also, I think Mount Meru in Africa may be the true Mount Meru that the Hindu cosmology talks about, or the Hindu stories talk about, not up in the North Pole up there. Maybe that's the old North Pole. I don't know, something like that. But also, Africa has been discredited because while I was in Germany, I had found a 1977 book, high school book, a 1977 German high school book, and it had a picture of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, and it also had a picture of Akbar the Great. But strangely enough, Akbar the Great was entitled, with what I read, it was in German, but it was still could be read in an English way, because you can see the German, German and English are very similar, well, more than you realize. But and what I saw in the picture was a dark-skinned African man, a Negro, dressed in Hindu, all-white Hindu dress. If you ever been to India, I stayed 2 years in India, and they still dress to that. They still just dress that way today. Some of the men still dress with a scarf around and with a long dress. Mostly the Muslims have the longer dresses, but the Hindus still, in certain places, still dress like that. But what I saw was Akbar the Great in an African form, wearing Hindu dress. And what I saw in the caption below, it said, what did it say? Geez, I'm sorry, just been a long time, and I'm trying to get all this information out, because I've discovered, since I don't have friends anymore because of my own convictions, and I'll leave it at that. Don't have a girlfriend anymore because she left me for asking her why does she have an attitude with me, and I never saw her again. Never threatened her life, but never cursed her out. But somehow I don't know, I got that. But hey, maybe I'm a boring dude, and that's cool. There's no permanency here. There's no permanency here. Oh, you know, if Isa really lived, if Jesus Christ really lived, he said, the world is a bridge, pass over it, but do not settle down. And that means that you're not supposed to become a part of it. You're not supposed to be one with it. You got to know that one way or another you leave. But at the same time, I believe that we live for much longer than we have been taught. I believe we could live past 100 years easily. But, you know, our small minds, no, I'm not going to insult ourselves yet, because there's no telling what we've been taught in such a way that's made us so stupid. And I can't get into all that because that'd be insulting people, and I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to share what I know, and hopefully someone will put it together with whatever they need to put it together with and help themselves. So, we could live past that, and I feel like I've come across something that shows that we can live past these pictures of Selassie, which I'll show you in a moment. But just want to finish for a moment with these crosses. So if you keep in mind, again, there's this theme in the middle, Mount Meru, which again in the Hindu cosmology. Oh, I'm sorry, I was talking about Akbar the Great. Sorry about that. Don't mean to get off. So Akbar the Great is an African conqueror. In the caption below, underneath the picture of what I saw in Germany, was it said Akbar the Great, the African conqueror of India. And I remember thinking, like, wait a minute. I spent 2 years in India, and every time I saw a picture of Akbar the Great, he was light-skinned with a white beard. And if you go Google it, you'll see Akbar the Great of India is light-skinned with a white beard mostly. That's the image I mostly saw. So you will not find anything that says Akbar the Great was an African conqueror. You won't find it. But I already looked, and there's nothing. So I just want to give that little piece of information out, because something is being hidden about Africa. With all that's going on, ain't nothing going on in Africa, but they keep trying to make us believe something is. But essentially, they're doing their own little propaganda against the people. You know what I'm talking about. But again, that's another story. Anyway, so you got this theme here now. Mount Meru. There's a Mount Meru in Tanzania, Africa. It's one of the highest points, one of the 10 highest points in Africa. And I think that's really what this is talking about. And, you know, again, the sun and the moon going around. You got the disc. All these are the same themes. It's a flat disc. And it's saying, I believe, the same thing as what the flat earthers or the Hindu cosmologies are saying. I don't believe that these are just simple crosses that a man called Jesus Christ died on. There's more symbolism. Well, again, it's for those who understand it. I'm not here to argue that with those who don't want to see it like that, and that's fine. They come across it the way they're supposed to, or in another reincarnation. I don't know. I seem to think we reincarnate over and over again until we get it right. But this, I believe, is Mount Meru in Africa, actually, is what it's really indicating. And maybe that was the last North Pole. But I believe also these Ethiopian crosses, even though these are highly decorative ones, there are cheaper crosses which are not to be disrespected, because the people that made the cheaper crosses that are just less detailed, they too believe that when they make these crosses that, you know, their soul is going to go to somewhere higher, because they made something that will protect something for someone who's going to wear it. And so they make these things in essentially in good faith. But even so, if some make it just for money, well, hey, you need money to live. You know, just having faith and prayer doesn't always bring you food. But for some, maybe it does. But for those who don't really know how to do that, I'm not one of them. I still need money to eat and live for now. So it's none of it to be disrespected. But again, the less crafted, best crafted Ethiopian crosses still have a centerpiece. If you pay attention to that, they still have this theme in the middle, which is Mount Meru, is my opinion. Again, you could see also that this is a really big cross too. This is one of the big ones. You can see the palm of my hand. So Yeah, man. So I think that's one of the themes that's being misguided. We're not paying attention. That's still, this has something to do with Ethiopia. And if those who are saying that, what's the big deal about flat Earth? Why should we know the truth? Well, there must be some kind of truth of some kind that helps us understand who we are, overstand, I should say, who we are, so that we can unlock our misery somehow and get out of it. Because I've been shown personally that, that we are in hell already. We're in school. We're in shul, as the Hebrews would say, and shul means hell. And if you realize everywhere we send our children to school, which in sense it's a trick word, so you're sending your children to hell. It's really clever. Anyway, so hopefully maybe someone can connect the dots with the Ethiopian crosses, or the Ethiopian, Tanzania, Mount Meru, flat Earth issue. You should, if you can, because I think it's a key to understanding something else that's maybe a little bit higher. And hopefully, again, this will help. So, again, you've seen them. Now, the next thing is the pictures of Haile Selassie. When I came across this picture in the place that I was working, it blew my mind, and I took a picture, luckily. I never took a picture of Akbar the Great, the African conqueror. I never took a picture of it because I thought it was obvious information that you could get anywhere, but luckily I was wrong about that. I'd be blowing people's mind with that picture now if I could show you a picture of it, but I promise you it exists. And not too long ago, they knew that Akbar the Great was African and not of Indian descent. So I believe also that Siddhartha, which I already placed Siddhartha, Buddha, Gautama, Siddhartha, I already figured out years ago through some other things, evidences I came across, that Siddhartha was from Ethiopia. And a lot of that is because of how I came up with that was because you can't find pictures of Siddhartha and the lion together. You can't find it. For some reason, that literature of Buddha and the lion have been, I don't know, you can't find them. And there are. I read it when I was in India, and I can't find it now. But that's a big piece of Buddha, because I think the trick here is the lion. The lion are from Africa. The lions aren't from Asia, essentially. They were brought there by Africans, but essentially they are in deep Kenya, a little past Ethiopia. But if the way I see it, if the history is based on his real life story, then I don't know how they escaped the tiger, because the tiger is much more ferocious, and it's much bigger. Well, it's not much bigger, but it's a little bit bigger than the lion. And I don't see why they wouldn't be saying Buddha and the tiger, but they say Buddha and the lion. And even in Hindu, I think in Sanskrit, it's Simha, Simha, which is lion, Simha. But in the African tongue, or one of the African tongues, I'm not sure which one it is now, but they recognize the word Simba. Maybe it's Kenya, but the word Simba is name of a lion. Also is the name for lion. Also Simba, Simba. So you have the ha and the ba, which are essentially the same pronunciations. Again, that's etymology. Well, that's what I learned. But that to me is the trick about Buddha and Siddhartha Gautama, that he's not really a Hindu, but he's really an Ethiopian. But it's known that Ethiopia and India had a strong relationship even 7,000 years ago with Krishna. One of Krishna's cousins married a Hindu prince. An Ethiopian prince, or something like that, or vice versa. But there was some kind of blood marriage, or some kind of marriage which brought about, I'm sure, children. So it makes it a blood marriage or blood line relation. So I think there's really more truth to these. It's not just a cross of a man of Jesus